Good morning from Hakodate. This morning I decided to start the day by taking a look at the 17th floor, and you have a pretty nice view of the city. This afternoon I'm going to be taking the Hokkaido Shinkansen from Hakodate all the way back to Tokyo, and I've been looking forward to that for a really long time since it goes about 200 miles an hour, which I find mind-blowing. But before that, let's head down to the Hokkaido Morning Market, which is right outside of our hotel, to look for some food, because I'm really looking forward to all the fresh seafood I'm going to find there. I just found this really interesting shop. They sell squid, and they basically get this big metal plate and they flatten the squid and kind of grill it and cook it in there. And then they have this machine which perfectly shreds it. So let's give this a taste. Freshly grilled and shredded squid. Oh, that is nice. It's really salty, a little bit briny, but you can taste the freshness. And it's almost like squid jerky because I love the chewy texture. Look at this. When have you ever seen a boat filled with water and then with live squid in it? Look at this. I found corn that's so fresh looking, and it's literally wrapped in plastic, so I think you could just eat it raw. There's just endless seafood here. It looks like there's even an indoor market right in front of us. This looks beautiful, just slices of Yubari Melon, which is one of the most popular melons in Hokkaido. This is something I've wanted to try for a really long time. One of the last items I want to try in Hokkaido. Fresh Yubari Melon, which is one of the most popular melons grown in Hokkaido, and I've heard that they're really sweet. And sometimes these melons can sell for a lot of money, but I got this slice for 400 yen, which I thought was very reasonable. It looks so fresh and juicy, and I love how it's already sliced up and ready to eat with toothpicks. Oh man. That is just so juicy. It's like a mouthful of juicy. Almost no texture of fruit. It's just pure juicy flavor. The best melon I ever had. So sweet and really fragrant. It just tastes like a really juicy sweet cantaloupe. So delicate, a must try. You have to get yourself a Yubari melon. Just get one slice. But then I think you're gonna want to buy a whole melon afterwards. I just made it back to this restaurant that I wanted to try out earlier. They have a fresh taste of live squid and you can cut them yourself. And she said just to grab it by the head, so let's see.
Oh, okay, okay.
Whoa! Oh. And they even squirt water. I can't believe it. The squid is so fresh. If you look closely, the legs are still twitching. So this is going to be the freshest squid you ever taste. Look at that. Look at all those tentacles moving around. Let's go ahead and give our squid a taste. I just dipped it in soy sauce, and the legs are still twitching slightly as I pick it up with my chopsticks. I love this squid. Because it's so small, it's really easy to chew. And again, it's not slimy at all, and it's very clean tasting. It almost has a very, very light flavor to it. It's just so clean. And dipped in the soy sauce, it's delicious. And it was literally still grabbing onto my chopsticks slightly. That's why it was a little bit hard to eat it, but it still had some suction power with its suction cups. That's how fresh it is. I mean, this is something you have to try. If you've never had live squid before, this is just like a whole nother experience. And while the squid may have had the last laugh by squirting on me, it kind of squirted some sort of snot at me, so now my pants got a little sticky, but I feel like I had the last laugh enjoying this squid because it's so delicious. I really enjoyed this. The rest of the food came out and it all looks beautiful. I got a kaisen don, which is hot rice, and I topped it with a little bit of salmon and tuna as well as crab. We also have a grilled scallop here, which looks beautiful, and it comes with miso soup, and it looks like there's some sort of kelp in there. I decided to get my scallop grilled because, you know, I love my grilled foods. Now it looks like there's just a bit of soy sauce on here, so let's go for a bite. It's literally dripping with fresh juice. No way. That is unbelievable. I already know the raw scallops are gonna be delicious. They're gonna be sweet. But this is like sweetness on a whole nother level. It's probably twice or maybe even 4 times as sweet as a raw scallop. I really feel like that grilling really caramelizes it and brings out the sweetness. Oh my god. It's just so sweet and juicy. This is like scallop heaven. This miso soup looks a little bit different with the seaweed they're using in here. So let's see how this tastes. That's a much milder, subtler flavor. And the miso they use here is really nice. It's really strong and intense. Now let's go for our kaisendon. I'm gonna start off with the salmon, and this is the freshest seafood I've ever seen. The freshest tuna, the freshest salmon, because they're both really vibrant. I mean, the salmon is like bright orange. It almost looks fake because it's so fresh. Let's go for a bite of this. Wow, people really aren't lying when they say that you can get the freshest seafood in Japan at the seafood markets. Like, this morning market just has great seafood, and you really taste it with the salmon. The salmon has a really unique texture. It almost has a fatty taste to it, and it's so buttery, and it just leaves this delicate flavor on your tongue. And I love the contrast between the fish and the rice, because the fish is nice and chilled and the rice is so warm and steaming hot still. And I actually forgot to dip it in my wasabi and soy sauce, but I would argue it probably tastes just as good without it as it does with it, because it's so fresh. You know, you're just tasting the fish and the rice alone, and that's already enough to make you almost cry. Now let's go for a bit of this tuna. Definitely the most beautiful red tuna I've ever seen. The color is just outstanding. And this time I dipped it in a little bit of soy. I think that's definitely going to give it a little bit of extra flavor, and we'll see if that makes it any tastier. That is mind-blowing kaisendon right there. That tuna is the most tender tuna I ever had. Like, it's literally just as tender as some of the uni I had earlier on this trip. It almost has the texture of a really firm uni. Like, it just is buttery soft. I don't understand it. It's almost like the wagyu of the ocean. Even though it's a really lean cut, it just melts as soon as it touches your tongue. It just defies the laws of nature. It's so tender, and it's really, really fresh. Again, really clean tasting, and I love it. Dipped into wasabi, it just adds a little bit of extra fragrance, and I feel like it does make it a little bit tastier. It just brings out the natural flavor of the fish even more. I saved this crab for last. I'm not sure whether it's snow crab or king crab or something else, but I already know it's going to be one delicious bite, so I saved this one for the end. Wow, that's gotta be snow crab. It tastes exactly like the snow crab I had last night, so it's almost like reliving last night all over again. This time, it's just a nice, sweet piece of crab that's already plucked out of the shell. So easy to eat, just over a warm, hot bowl steaming rice. What more could you want? I just finished up an incredible seafood breakfast. This is seriously something you have to do. I swear, you can't go to Japan without checking out Hakodate. It's so far because you have to go all the way up to the edge of Hokkaido from Tokyo, but trust me, it's worth it. You have to check out Hakodate. I already knew it after last night, but I'm definitely going to be heading to Hakodate sometime in the future. I don't know when, but this was just such an amazing experience for me. These 24 hours here have been amazing. I seriously love all the service here in Japan. I again exchanged business cards with the owner, and she was really friendly. If you're in Hakodate, you really need to check out her shop. She has the freshest seafood, and it's such a fun experience to catch your own squid. Now I'm walking back to the hotel, which is just a few steps away, and I really want to try out those strawberries and corn. To get to the restaurant that I went to, take the street by the hotel. You can see the hotel right there. Just go all the way down the street, and just a few shops down on your left side will be the restaurant. It has a blue sign, and right across from it, there's a whole bunch of tanks of fresh seafood and the live squid. Right in front of my hotel, I saw this really weird bug. I'm not sure what it is. It might be the caterpillar, but it is so hairy. I'm back at the room, and I want to start off with this corn. It feels nice and wet, and apparently it was washed already, and it's just ready to eat. It just smells really sweet. It smells like it actually might even be cooked already, I think. So let's give this a taste. Oh, the corn is just so sweet. It definitely tastes like it's been cooked, and it's really juicy. My hands are literally dripping with juice. It's really wet. but it is so sweet. This is really delicious corn. I love how big it is too, but I'm so full after that meal earlier, but I still think I'm gonna finish this, but it's so tasty. Now it's finally time to try out these premium strawberries. I can't believe how shiny they are, and they're grown in Shin Hakodate, which is only about 20 minutes away. So let's taste one of these. I'm really looking forward to it. The vendor said they were extremely sweet. Let's just taste the strawberry. It literally looks perfect. It's the perfect size and perfect shiny red color. Oh. That is a really well-balanced strawberry. You get a burst of sweetness at the beginning, finished up by a nice mild tartness, and it is so soft. Like the skin on the strawberry is like paper thin, almost as if it's not even there. And the seeds are also very small, and the strawberry has a really unique fragrance to it. Something you really can't explain without trying at least once. The cost of these strawberries was quite great. It was about $8.50, which is about 1,200 yen, but she ended up giving us a discount, so she gave us about 200 yen off, which is roughly $1.50, so I guess we paid around $7 for these. These are premium strawberries, and honestly, considering how great they taste, I think the price isn't too astronomical. I'm so sad to say my time in Hokkaido, as well as my time in Hakodate, is coming to an end. Now I'm going to be heading to the train station to head to Shin Hakodate Station, where I can take the Shinkansen back to Tokyo. Here's the train that we'll be taking for 4 hours to Tokyo, and we get to go in a first car. I was thankful because once again I would be sitting in a green car since I made reservations well in advance. The legroom was great as there was plenty of room for my legs, and the seat was also very soft and comfortable. I made it to my seat, and there should be more than enough room. It's very comfortable, so I'm definitely going to enjoy our 4-hour train ride to Tokyo. We're currently in the Seikan Tunnel, so I thought I'd try out my Ekiben now, since there's not a lot to see out the window because it's just really dark. I decided to get the grilled pork over rice, since I loved the grilled lamb yesterday so much, and it's topped with a little bit of burdock root, so let's try it out first. I really love that. It tastes fried, it's nice and crunchy, and there's a bit of tartness from it, and now I'm tasting a slight spiciness as well. You already know the pork's going to be delicious. Just look at it. It looks really nice and fatty, and there's some sort of rich dark brown sauce on it. I love that. It's a rich fatty cut of pork, and the sauce is so rich and salty. Definitely has a very savory flavor to it. Tastes like soy and maybe some sort of spiciness. I don't know what it is. It's just very faint, and there's also must be a lot of garlic in here. It's just so tasty and flavorful. I love how the sauce really coats every single one of your taste buds, and in terms of the quality, it's really good. It almost reminds me of high quality supermarket food. The sauce is going to go real great with this rice. The rice is so tasty, and that's because they use only Hokkaido rice. What a great bento. I'm going to finish this up and enjoy the rest of our ride to Tokyo. Another cool thing is when I went to Japan for the first time in 2016, the Shinkansen had just opened, and I watched a video about it, so I was super excited to ride on this trip, and I'm really enjoying the ride so far, but it's a bit more time in the tunnel before we get some scenery. And there we go. It looks like we just made it out of the tunnel. just made it here to Tokyo Station, and it was a great 4-hour ride, and now we're finally going to be heading to our hotel. Right now I'm waiting in line for a taxi, and the line does look pretty long, but it is moving really quickly, so hopefully we only have to wait no more than 30 minutes. We're almost at the front of the taxi line, and it moved really fast. It literally only took us 15 minutes to get through this entire line, and I bargained that we'll get in our taxi within 20 minutes. I finally made it here to my hotel, the Hotel Groundbog Tokyo Ginza, and trust me, it is definitely worth it to take a taxi. You do not want to be going on the subway at rush hour. That would just be a disaster. The taxi line actually moved really quickly. It only took me about 15 minutes, and the ride over here was very pleasant. From the outside, this hotel looks pretty nice and modern, so let's take a look inside and check into our room. And this room already looks pretty great. It sort of has a vintage feel to it. I love the darkness on the walls. And look, you even have a red couch, and wow, I'm impressed by this. The window shades open automatically as soon as we opened the door and walked in. And the sun is just shining in through the windows as it's almost sunset. The room we booked has 3 beds, and I love the size of these beds. They look really large, and they seem quite soft. Right here is the bathroom. The shower space looks pretty decent, a good size, and I love the dark design. It looks very modern so far. And the sink. Although we only have 1 sink in the room, this is amazing. It is huge. There's so much room on the countertops, which I definitely need. And right below, you have your towels. Just like our hotel in Hakodate, we have a separate toilet room, and again, what in the world? This literally looks like the same model of toilet I just had. Call me crazy, but I have my place for dinner. Earlier in the trip, I went to Gonpachi in Odaiba, and I thought it was really tasty because I went there for lunch. I got some soba, but I was really looking for yakitori, and they told me that they only serve yakitori for dinner. So now, that's where I want to go for dinner, and it is going to be about 30 minutes away by train, so let's head over there now. I'm really looking forward to some high-quality yakitori. I ordered a decent amount of skewers. I tried to get some of my favorites from my last trip here, and I also got a couple of new ones to try, so I'm really looking forward to it. To start off, I tried their salad, and their salad looks really good. It looks like some sort of dark greens topped with a lot of seaweed, as well as some sort of seafood. It might be clams. I'm not sure what greens those are. I'm wondering if there's some sort of Japanese greens because they taste so different. They're really nice and sweet, sweeter than any lettuce, and they have a little bit of light bitterness as well. And I love how it goes with dressing. There's a nice citrus vinaigrette, and the seaweed on there is a really nice addition as well. And now I want to go for one of the clams. Those are some fresh tasting clams. They're nice and sweet, and they have a bit of smokiness to them. For my drink, I had their yuzu tea, which tasted like pure yuzu juice and was tart and refreshing. All of our skewers came out at the same time. They all look really delicious, but I want to start off with our vegetable skewers first. Shishito peppers. I love how charred they are. They're really nice and crispy on the outside, have a nice bitter flavor from the char, and they're a little bit spicy as well. Now for the ginkgo nuts, and these are really interesting. They almost remind me of a cross between a pea and a bean. Oh man, they cook those perfectly. I really love how hard and crunchy they are. They almost remind me of corn nuts. They have like a corn nut taste, and then they almost taste like a cross between a corn nut and a sweet green pea. Oh, they are so delicious. Definitely a must-try vegetable skewer. Now for these mushrooms. These look really interesting, nice and large. These are nice, but I feel like they're a bit over-salted. They're really strong and salty, but I do love how they absorb the flavor of the grill. So it tastes like they're just like sponges, and they soaked up all the smoke and charcoal deliciousness. Now for our meat skewers, this is our beef tongue, and it looks like it's topped with garlic. I love how rich and meaty it is, and it's so fatty and delicious. It has a really nice greasiness to it, and I love the fatty flavor from it. It's a lot juicier than most beef tongue I've ever had, which I find impressive. Now for my favorite skewer the last time I was here, this is the chicken tail. That is delicious. It's so rich and fatty, and I love the texture of it. It's so juicy, and the chicken in Japan just tastes so much better. It's sweeter and fresher and juicier than what I'm used to. You have to try yakitori when you're here in Japan. Chicken is just something else. Now for the chicken gizzard, and I really enjoyed this one when I was in Sapporo. I love the nice crunchy texture of these, and again, these ones are a little bit more like beef because they're more irony. They have a really rich beefy flavor to them, which I enjoy. The last skewer I was really curious about, this is bacon wrapped mochi. I love mochi and I love bacon, so I think this is going to be great. I mean, doesn't everything in life go better with bacon? That one is decent. The best part of it is probably the bacon, because it gets really crunchy and crispy on the grill, and it really takes on an extra smoky flavor. However, I do have to say the mochi is a little bit on the mushy side, and I would like it to be a little bit more bouncy and chewy, although it does make it a lot easier to eat. So if you have trouble chewing really sticky mochi, you might like this because it's a lot easier to swallow. I just finished on my meal, and what another great dinner in Japan. I thought the vibe of the restaurant was really interesting because they were blasting American pop songs, and most of them were older, from around 10 years ago or so. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but the view from there was incredible, because you can see right back there, you have a perfect view of Tokyo as well as the Rainbow Bridge at nighttime. You can also see behind me, they have a replica of the Statue of Liberty for some reason here in Odaiba. But anyways, you definitely got to check out Gonpachi Odaiba. I really loved all their skewers, and their chicken there specifically tastes so much better than anything in the US. When I had the chicken in Sapporo and had that yakitori, it was tasty, but not this tasty. This is just something else. Then it was back on the Yurikomome line, which was very crowded, probably because it was a Saturday night. It was really crazy to see how crowded Shimbashi Station was, as it looked like rush hour. However, the crowdedness was still not as crazy as this tourist I saw. Eventually made back to the hotel, and I didn't realize how tall it was. It was a very tall tower. I'm back at the room, and it still boggles my mind the fact that I traveled all the way from Hakodate today to Tokyo on a train going 200 miles an hour. I find that pretty amazing. I'd say despite that we had a lot of travel today, it was a very successful day. I really enjoyed the morning market experience in Hakodate. That is really something you can only experience in Japan, and I've never experienced anything like that before. Getting seafood that fresh and catching my own live squid, that was a lot of fun, and it was really tasty too. I'm also really glad I went back to Gonpachi Odaiba. Earlier in the trip, I was really sad that I missed out on their yakitori, and I'm so glad that I came back today because their yakitori is seriously top notch. Their chicken is so delicious, and I love their variety of skewers. Tomorrow I have a really exciting and possibly deadly dinner. I'm going to be trying the famous pufferfish, or Japanese fugu, which is a really poisonous fish, but when prepared properly, it's very delicious. And I had it before on my last trip, but I didn't film it, so I really want to share this experience with you all tomorrow. Anyways, I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. Make sure if you did to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.